For a 93rd time, can you believe it? Florida State Seminoles live here with Logan Robinson from Nole Game Day, and of course Jason Parker, NBC6, talking up the Noles with spring practice coming up soon. Boys, how we doing tonight?
We've done 93 of these.
93. You've only done 92, so it probably doesn't feel like 93 for you because
Logan's done what, like 60 of them, and he's only been served for what, 50?
52, something in that range.
Oh my God.
Well, the majority, at least 90% intoxicated.
Ladies and gentlemen, striving for greatness, Logan Robinson, Nole Game Day.
That's how you got to do. In the last couple of years, you start off with Willie Taggart. You got a COVID year. It causes Mike Norvell not to have a real year. And you got to drink a lot.
You're like the Ron DeSantis to former President Trump, right? You're going to defend him no matter what, correct? That's how we're going with this?
There have been great artists throughout history who have hit the stage, under the influence and performed rather well. So Logan just is in that line of talent.
Yep.
I just said Logan is the Puff Daddy to Norvell being Biggie Smalls. That's the correlation. He is Norvell's hype man. I feel like you should be hired. You should be hired as his personal assistant, hype man. Leave Nole Game Day behind. Go work for FSU football.
Who knows? We made these announcement graphics for these new coaches coming in. I don't know what's going on. Might be already being done behind the scenes, Jason.
You couldn't be worse than the graphics our football department. Let's just say
they've gotten better. Making us work harder a little bit.
We're not coloring my numbers anymore? Go ahead.
No.
Just no more Mackenzie Milton video with a knee brace on.
Sadly not.
No, that's sad. I wanted to see more of Logan sharing the screen and breaking down the video. Yeah. I wanted to see that.
Folks, you know what to do. Leave your comments, your questions, your debate topics to get us stirred up here. Usually it doesn't take much for Jason, but for Logan and I, get us fired up with some debate topics, some trash talking there in the live chat. It's always welcome. So I will keep the live chat monitored, of course. So if we get anything there. Meanwhile, we're going to run down a couple hires, couple new coaching additions here. Logan, we got Ryan Bartow, Director of High School Relations, and Sabbath Joseph, Defensive Quality Control Analyst.
Yeah, you lose Coach Laughlin, and you bring in who Laughlin ended up getting a on-the-field role, which that just seems to be the way. If you look back at Mike Norvell's tenure, he brings in coaches, he brings in analysts, and he's able to promote them. He's able to get them to other places and get paid and get on the field jobs. That's what happened to Coach Laughlin. So you got to find someone to replace him with. Ryan Bartow is well known, starting off with Clemson being practically a reporter or insider there for recruiting, covering for 247 sports site there. He's worked with Oregon, Syracuse, and he'll tell you this is practically a different kind of animal here coming to FSU. He's got a lot of relationships in the Southeast. And obviously starting off right off the bat is a quarterback with A.J. Duffy, who he's personally close with. Actually, A.J. Duffy, a 4-star quarterback, tweeted today, said something about getting 1% better, which, as we know, is Mike Norvell's tagline and Coach Storm's. So someone already today, the day after Bartow being hired at FSU, made it official. There was a prediction already put in per 247 Sports, a crystal ball, picking A.J. Duffy to pick the Seminoles. So it seems like the new hire has already accelerated into Florida State landing its best quarterback in the 2022 class.
Accelerated. That was almost as good as you literally reading straight off the email from Steve McCartney from the Florida State Athletics Department. Like,
I don't get those emails anymore. I don't get those.
You hyped up a man who is coming to us from Syracuse. This is what we've got. This is our new Director of High School Relations, is a man from Wisconsin who last coached at Syracuse. Here's a wild idea. Why don't we try to find somebody who, I don't know, has experience with high schools maybe in the state of Florida? Maybe promote somebody like Brandon Harris instead of letting him leave for an on-field job at FIU? Who knows? Maybe actually hire somebody with a connection to the state of Florida. Once again, another fault by the 3-6 Mafia known as Mike Norvell. And
This is just blasphemous now, Mark. I think this is just to get the ratings up now. I can't even argue with this. There's too many things I could talk about with these relationships in the Southeast.
Wait, hold
Not
on.
even the Southeast, but it seems like
Do you need to read off the email first or not? Before you talking points. I'm just wondering.
Go right ahead.
No, I'm just saying. No, I'm asking you since you're reading off the emails. I just want to make sure you're.
I don't have an email. I don't get them. I'm not credentialed. We're no game days an outlet that don't really need the emails to do our research.
So some of us are big deals. That's all.
When you get big corporations backing you like Chick-fil-A,
the chicken up there. For some reason, it's working not to get the emails. I think Chick-fil-A wants to have a chat.
You get as many nuggets as you want. So congratulations.
The nuggets both in the restaurant and to our Discord family.
He said Discord. It took 5 minutes for him to say Discord.
he beat you to nail on the head and shout out.
I've got a couple. I got a couple shout outs coming before the end of the night.
Okay, they're coming. All right, I'll make two obvious statements in response to the hiring. One would be to further what Jason is talking about. There is a large component of logic that would say, yes, we're connecting with the high schools here in Florida. Would we not want somebody who is familiar with the lay of the land here and has relationships and understands what's going on in this state? Number one. Number two, though, you can certainly go out and hire qualified people from outside the state. And we don't know, I can't imagine much about him past that.
I agree. And I think he has experience in the ACC. Obviously, he started at North Carolina, then it was at Clemson for 8 seasons, writing for Tigers Illustrated. Then he went to Oregon and covered Syracuse. Yes, the potential is there. I just feel like this is a continuation, and we've talked about it during the recruiting, how Norvell and the coaching staff seems to be kind of ignoring the state of Florida, going outside. Is that because guys don't want to come in? Who knows? That might be the reason. But I feel like there's no concerted effort to recruit what I think we all would agree is the greatest state for high school football in the country. I think Logan would agree with that, and I think Mark would say we're at least in the conversation.
Absolutely.
I think that's going to only help with more better play on the field. The last couple of years, not a lot of recruits, at least maybe in the Southeast or maybe Georgia or Florida, have really looked at Florida State like they used to. But going back, if you win 7-8 wins this season, a lot of things change, I think, in that area, since Jason needs every Florida recruit to be coming to Tallahassee.
Why shouldn't they? Why should you want recruits to come in from, just throwing it out there, if you're telling me you've got a recruit from, I'll say South Florida, or let's say Orlando or Tampa, since you're allergic to anything south of I-4, let's say Orlando, let's say Tampa. Would you want a recruit coming from Orlando or Tampa, or do you want them coming from Arkansas? Do you want them coming in from Tennessee? I want them coming from the best group of talent, and that is Miami, that is Tampa, that is Orlando, that is Jacksonville. If you're not at least making a concerted effort, I don't mind us being turned down by players, because right now, we talked about this last week, we are third amongst the big three right now. What I mind is not even trying. What I mind is basically going to Arizona, going to Arkansas, and what I'm not even trying down here in South Florida, not even trying in Orlando. We've got guys leaving the city of Tallahassee, going to other places. Go ahead and defend your boy. Go ahead.
So you're saying that he has no relationships, which is completely false, with the Southeast Florida involved too. Is that what you're saying?
How many recruits came from South Florida this year?
He has plenty. He has. Well, this isn't.
How many?
He wasn't on staff. Was he on staff?
I'm sorry, Mike Norvell's been there since September of 2019. So he's been
talking about Bartow. I'm
talking about Mike Norvell. Your savior, Mike Norvell.
Guess who he brings in? Bartow has great relationships with kids. Who's been an analyst for plenty of years experience.
Syracuse.
And not only Southeastern ties and building those relationships, but like I just mentioned, who was thought to be a lock for Arizona State, the number 5 pro-style quarterback in the country,
Power
4-star, seems to be getting interesting here. Florida State might land, which we thought would happen, 2 quarterbacks, but you land Nico and AJ Duffy.
Yeah.
AJ Duffy because of the relationship with Bartow.
Mark it down.
What happens then? What happens then?
You can be my associate producer at the national championship game in Indianapolis this year. You, me, will cover FSU football. Because according to you, the sky's the limit right now, right? Or are you going to come back?
You want negative? You want negativeness?
No, I'm being real. I'm being realist right now. Right now, you're saying that this guy's the answer, and I feel like you. And this, I love you, Logan.
Who should they get? Who should they get?
Are you going to continue to interrupt? Are you going to be Mark? You're going to be Mark Rogers?
I'm being you. I'm being Jason.
You're going to be Mark Rogers now? Continue to interrupt there? Go ahead.
Being Jason. I'm learning from you.
I like it. Well, it's about time you learn something from a scholar like me. What I'm saying, Mark, no, don't even think about it, Mark. Do not even think about it. What I'm saying, Logan, is you have constantly defended the Norvell administration. That's fine. I get it. You're a homer. You love your Noles. It's fine. I get it. I'm also a graduate of the school, but I'm also a realist. The notion, like, for example, let's talk about this. On Twitter today, you talked about what happens if Florida State wins 8 games. Let's give you a chance to explain your statement. Where did that come from? And do you legitimately think Florida State can win 8 games this season?
It comes from all these crystal balls and predictions that have come in today, including AJ Duffy, the hire of Bartow, and we'll talk about the incoming also control analyst and quality control analyst that got hired. You know, when things are swaying in Florida State's direction like this after going 3-6, and you're gonna have a top 10 class right now. I know it's very early, but things are already heading in that direction. If you get 8 wins, the sky's the limit. I mean, it's not really a hard question.
So what are the 4 games? What are the 4 games we lose next season?
I just said what happens if Florida
I'm asking you a question.
If Florida State wins 8 games, and that includes also a bowl win or a possibility of a bowl win.
Oh, okay. So you're gonna scoot by and say,
oh yeah,
so it could be 7-5.
That's a solid backdoor move.
There is also a difference in saying I'm predicting Florida State to win 8 games versus Logan just saying they could win 8 games. That's not necessarily a prediction. He's just saying it could happen.
Right. And that's why I was asking him, and I'm asking Logan, and I will ask again.
I said what happens if Florida State. What happens to Florida State's recruiting if FSC has an 8-win season? That's what I said. I didn't even say a prediction of the record. I said what would happen to the recruiting.
Your Twitter followers must have been drunk because they were exploding on you today for your comment there. I think it would be, yes, sky would be the limit. I think you have to win at least one of the games over a rival. You have to beat either Miami or Florida. You have to win one of those rivalry games to get back into recruiting in the state of Florida. I think the Miami game is much more important to win because it's a streak. Miami's on a 4-game winning streak. We have to beat Miami, especially after the butt kicking they put on us last year. I think we have to be realistic and say that this is a 500 team right now at best, not just because they went 3-6 last year. I don't mind that we went 3-6. I mind that we look bad going 3-6. So this notion that we could be an 8-win team is baffling, just to me. I
never said that. I never said that.
I didn't say you said that. I asked you, do you think we could be an 8-win team? And if so, what are the 8 wins you think we could have?
I'm not giving I'm not doing any record predictions before spring game.
Then what the hell are we going to do until August?
Going to talk personnel breakdowns.
I'm not doing it anywhere. I haven't done it on Instagram, nowhere on our podcast. There's no way I'm doing it anymore until I have a spring game.
Are you saying
new rule?
Too. Wait, are you saying Mike Norvell hurt you? Mike Norvell hurt you?
No, it wasn't just this year. It's been a couple of years.
It's been 4 years of pain. Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Let this be noted that not only did I not interrupt, even when Jason said I always interrupt, I still didn't interrupt to further prove that I don't interrupt and have rarely, I won't say ever, interrupted in 93 shows.
But you put the paw up like you were going to say something.
I did.
You were going in motion like you were going to interrupt until we put the.
No, I was raising my hand.
No, you weren't. You were.
And I'm a host here. I shouldn't have to be raising my hand to anybody. I set this whole thing up.
You were coming for it. You were coming for it. Yeah, we had to tomahawk chop you. Well, me. I got to mouth anything.
All right, and we've got 2015 to talk about too. So we've got things to talk about.
Yay, let's go back. It's been such a fun.
All right, we're going to stay on the news beat here. We went through the coaches. Do we have anything else to say about our support or disdain for these coaches' hirings?
What are your thoughts? What would you say on Sabbath coming in? I mean, he's taking over the position. I believe he's replacing Brandon Harris, who did come back to FIU as an on-field position. What are your thoughts about that upgrade, downgrade? What are your thoughts?
I think it's another guy that's trying to get an opportunity. I do trust, and looking back, I know this will probably spark another argument, but I do trust. I mean, it's just factual stuff. I don't think it's really arguable, but what Norvell does, what he brings in, he's able to get guys promoted, or he brings them up on their staff. You got to trust him. He's got connections down there, Miami Central High. Obviously, we know where some good cats have come. Devontae Freeman, plus also this guy that I think might be the best running back in football right now, Dalvin Cook. Mm-hmm. He's got ties there, definitely around in your area a little bit, Jason. So this one, you should be right here. You should be doing jumping jacks because everything's got to go towards Florida recruits. There's no other recruits in the country that are good but Florida recruits. So I need you to do a backflip. This is a guy straight from your area. If Jason says this is a bad hire, he truly will not. He hates Norvell, which we do know, but you need to do a backflip and do some celebration. He's a guy that has ties to South Florida.
Listen, DeSantis, don't be lying and say Norvell. No, don't. No, you can apologize. You can apologize for saying I hate Mike Norvell. I don't hate Mike Norvell. I think he is a bad coach right now, and I've said that. I don't hate him. There's only one person I hate right now. I'm looking right at him right now in the middle of the screen. So you can apologize for your incorrect comment, Mr. Robinson from Noel Game Day.
I want you to do a backflip, though. I
haven't done a backflip since I was like 9.
I don't believe you'd ever done one.
That's not going to happen. I did one when I was 9. I think that's when I broke my wrist. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
No, I think it's a good hire. I think I'm hesitant, and you're going to call it negative because I'm not saying that we're going to be 12-0 in the regular season because I'm not a homer on this subject. But no, you have to take everything with a grain of salt. I think it's a good hire. I don't think that it is the national championship caliber hire at this moment, and I don't think we're going to get
national championship hire is going to be coming from a quality control analyst. I will say that.
You never know.
He might be able to have the ties to bring in your big boys from South Florida.
What if they look at your expertise from your years of your Hall of Fame career at Childs High School and bring you in as a quality control coach?
There's not. I will say Childs is not known for its recruits. I know we have Gainer there on the football field. If we go to baseball, maybe, or if we go to soccer or tennis, golf is fantastic. But Child's football isn't really well known for having too many guys put on the football field. It's still a young school, but Gainer's trying to put us on the map there.
Is Gainer your favorite player on the roster right now? You've talked a lot about them.
No.
Did you say he's your favorite? Give me your top 3 favorite players on the roster right now. Your personal favorite.
Golly. Top 3 favorites that I'm looking forward to watching this season.
No, just in general, your top 3 favorite.
Like just favorites, doesn't have to be about play or anything.
Real quick, I apologize. Buck Squad podcast. Just stay tuned and watch. I'll watch. But now that you put that up, it's absolutely happening.
My top 3 favorite player. I'd say Karen McDonald.
Okay.
Been able to. I think he's a great kid, and I think he has a bright future even off the field. Kim McDonald. Give me a little bit of Travis J.
Okay.
Because any way I can get a player to feel what I had when I was watching G5 when I was little, I'll do. And then just favorite player. I don't really like. This is not like something I usually get asked, like a favorite player.
You haven't even said Gainer.
No. I think that maybe Dennis Briggs. I think he slept on.
I am crunk up. Shout out, John. Thank you. I am crunked up.
He's fired up.
Got my Brita water. I'm good.
Our guy Dylan in the live chat is telling us that Bartow is a great hire. He is a former 247 recruiting analyst. Great hire.
So he's a media expert. He's Logan or I. Would you trust Logan or I as the director of high school relations? I wouldn't trust Logan or I as the director of high school.
I've never been in a recruiting analyst. I don't even like. 10% of my week is recruiting. I just kind of go with the flow, and I just go what our guys tell me. I don't know much about recruiting.
You got a chicken endorsement. That's all you need to know.
That's all I need, really, in life.
Dear God.
He's doing better than me, I tell you, when it comes to that.
Thank you, Justin. I should. Thank you, Justin. See, finally the viewers are understanding. Thank you, Justin.
Yeah. Let's turn it this way.
Jordan is enjoying today's version. Logan carries the show.
Well, Jordan probably also speaks redneck, so that's probably why he understands where that's coming from. I mean, the Clemson Tiger just automatically assumes that you're white trash, so I get it.
I'm white trash. Dang, Mark, did you hear that? I'm white trash.
Jordan's white trash. You're fine. You're actually going to have a college degree. Jordan.
Do we personally know Jordan? Jordan's my guy, Jobo. You can call him Jobo if you're me. You can call him Jobo. But
I'll stick with white trash.
Damn.
Jordan's a loyal supporter. Let's be backing off of the trash comments concerning the loyal viewers.
Fine. He's country. Is that better? He's country. Does that work out?
Yeah, I'm really not understanding why we're taking jabs at certain areas of the country.
I'm still mad about Clemson.
Doesn't make any sense.
Clemson's kicked the hell out of us since 2015.
Should I be taking jabs at the elitists across the country?
Can I take jabs at the right?
Here we go.
We never did our political show.
Wait, can I read this one real quick, Mark? This was funny. This one, can't believe Jason got divorced. ... Shocking from Miami fan Ronan, your favorite Ronan guy.
Ronan,
yeah. You find out things about your wife, you don't want to be with them anymore. It's crazy.
And Jordan says he's black though, so not. Okay, so
not. There can be black country people. I'm sure there are plenty in the Panhandle of Florida. I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure they're members of our football team who are African American who are country. Let's Ronan, you can smack talk all you want to. Just give us $13.72. That's all. You're gonna get your ass kicked by Alabama. That's all that matters.
See, now Ronan's not going to contribute.
Oh,
you're weighing me down.
Oh no, I'll send the $13 then. It's totally okay.
Wayne is also backing up Logan's claims and comments about Bartow having a great relationship with Florida schools, especially South Florida.
Because we have a lot of fans who are still mad about the Willie Taggart error, and they think
I'd be upset too. They got killed every week.
Oh, I'm sorry, they didn't. But nice try. Go ahead. But yeah, so everyone's going to sit here and say that Mike Norvell's great and everything he does is great. Like Logan. Logan does not say one negative thing about the Norvell hire that happened last season.
I have.
You defended Mike Norvell after we got beat by Louisville by 32 points. So let's calm down.
I never did.
Yes,
I said I expected that to happen.
Okay.
I did say that.
Thank you, SEC Dog. You will be smarter after listening to us. Thank you. Finally, some viewers are actually appreciating it.
SEC Dog's not too happy with me. We had a bit of a spat the other day.
What did you do?
I had to correct his facts on a few things. Sometimes I've got to play that role where I need to correct the inaccurate.
Yeah. Like me with Logan, I have to correct his inaccuracies. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
I don't remember doing that with Logan. I remember doing that with somebody else here 5, 10, 15 times.
Yeah, and then you got shot down like destroyed off the top rope, and you got proven wrong. So
don't remember getting shot down.
It happens.
That hasn't happened.
Here, I'm going to make you both happy.
There's Ronan.
Norvell does is awesome. He's the greatest coach. He's the greatest thing to hit Tallahassee since, I don't know, Logan would probably say Creed. I don't know.
To hit Tallahassee? Here we go.
There's Ronan with his 1378.
Not Tinder, it's J-Date. J-Date is what I've gone with. I've gone with J-Date.
Well, that's good. Use that money to get the premium. What does premium do for any dating sites? Does it just...
I think you get like access to better profiles. You get access to messages and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
For you, it's just going to Bullwinkle's and dropping the $10 and getting some.
Yeah.
To come back to your dorm. I get it. It's fine.
My dorm.
What you did? Don't lie. Well, we've all done. We've all done our worst moments in Tallahassee. Let's be honest. We all had those moments. Now let's get to the great part of the show where Mark decides to go back into our.
Whoa! There's a biggie.
What?
Sorry, I'm just watching.
Oh man!
Whoa!
Here we go. I'm going to set this one up.
What do we
That's
got?
beautiful. But before we post that comment from Hurricane Logan, Ronan, I gotta say, unfortunately, your 1378 all goes to me. You're supporting me, not FSU, and therefore Jason can't upgrade his Tinder premium. We're gonna get a sponsor. We'll help Jason with that.
Can we get JJ to sponsor it?
Maybe we should get Tinder to sponsor.
Ooh.
We're all single, so we're looking, right? Well, kind of. Not really.
We're single.
We're not married. We're not married, so
Yeah, but if you're dating,
currently not
single, Logan. Jesus.
I'm just saying, but you got to be married, at least to put on the forms and stuff.
Okay, can we get to the next one? You guys are already cackling and saying,
yeah. So Ronan, thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you for supporting Mark Rogers TV, the voice of college football. And as Ronan often says, he's got the vision. People need to catch the vision. Best discussion, debate, and analysis. That's our mission right here. Hurricane Logan, 50-10. Sounds familiar.
It does. I remember I was inside that stadium. But here's the thing. Hurricane Logan is smack talking us by saying, "Oh, 52-10, we kicked your ass 52-10." But you understand, you just gave us $52 of your money. We win. We may have lost the game, but we won this battle. We took
Hurricane. Don't feel too bad. Actually, I win. So thank you, Hurricane Logan. Another loyal supporter of the channel. Thank you so much. So we've got $62 plus of Miami money.
You said that we each get 20% of your money. So that means I get $12, I get $12, and we're fine. There goes my Tinder profile.
To Jason's credit, I have offered up the super chat and potential sponsorships. They will come someday. We might be gray, but Jason's been a very classy individual in saying I'm good to go. I show up and do my work, and he knows that I'm struggling. So there you go.
And Logan has demanded his money and has been kind of a jerk about it.
Yeah. Wait.
No, Logan's here for us.
Before we go into our blast in the time machine here, Logan, just give me a moment of sanity before we go.
Yeah. Yeah, I was about to say 6:36. We're 6 minutes behind Mark. We got to jump into our liking spree. I mean, we're at 28 likes and 51 people watching. Can we get this to 50 likes before we're done? Can we get to 50 likes before I'm done talking? It's at 28. More people will see this. This is how the YouTube algorithm works. I think we have the best. At least it's entertaining. Might not be the best, but I think it's the most entertaining show that Mark has on this channel. And every week you're going to see us come on and argue sometimes about the same thing that we've been arguing since week 1 of this show, and we're at week 93. But hit that like button so then every time you'll be able to, it'll come up on your feed more. Mark's videos will go up more. You need to hit the subscribe button too.
Logan, you are actually disclaiming that this is probably not the best show. You're going to give into that and actually give that up and say, I think it's probably not the best show.
I think it's the most entertaining show. Yeah. You can have like the best show with like boring analysts, but at least they'll tell you like 100% the right things. At least on here, we interact with the chat. We take the roasts, and Jason gets the show money because Hurricane fans hate him.
We spent 5 minutes talking about Tinder. We lost all credibility. But can we, real quick, time out.
And we're right about 38% of the time on this show.
Can we, Logan, do you really have a chicken banner behind you?
Yeah, it fits perfectly with the webcam. I don't know how. I really don't know. It's just from the little thing that I get here, this little box. But they gave it to me. I love chicken. I really love chicken. I do. I love chicken.
You guys understand after what we've seen in these super chats tonight that I'm rooting for Miami to beat Florida State like 95-0 next year. You guys get that, right?
Okay.
There seems to be a theme here.
Well, Miami fans think because of that one game that they are light years ahead of us. They don't realize the butt kicking they got to North Carolina, the butt kicking they got against Oklahoma State, the fact their quarterback right now is not as bad as Mackenzie Milton as far as his leg, but it's getting there. He had a horrible injury in the
sure.
So they're going to get their butts kicked by Alabama. Let's be honest. Miami fans, if you think you have a chance against Alabama, I hate to break it to you, you are going to get annihilated. We
understand the second best team in the country got their butts kicked by Alabama.
But you don't understand. Miami fans legitimately believe they have a shot against Alabama. No, you are going to get murdered. We may get murdered against Notre Dame, but I know for a fact you are going to get murdered against Alabama.
Yes, I know that as well. I do also know that Miami is substantially better right now than Florida State.
Define substantially.
Substantially meaning that Miami is one of the 15 best teams in the country, and Florida State's more like about 50.
You think Miami right now, with all the players they lost, is a top 15 team?
Yeah, I think they're a top 15-ish team, which give me a little slack to about 20 in the country, something in that range, 15 to 20 in the country. And I think Florida State's more like about 50, 45, 50.
I don't argue that on the Florida State part. I think Miami will be lucky to start the season right to the top 25 because of the number of.
I don't care where they're ranked. I don't. I don't give any credibility to people that are out there ranking teams.
Of course not.
That don't know what they're talking about.
Here we go.
I will say that
Mark Aldridge, why you can't rank teams early. Here we go. Mark's gonna
That's
make.
not what I'm saying. I'm saying that there are people that are ranking teams that don't know the hell what they're talking about.
It's February 17th, of course.
And I'm not saying that Florida State within 2 years, maybe this season, could catch Miami. I'm just saying, based on what we've seen the last 3 or 4 years, and especially last season, Miami is in a better position. They're just a better football team right now than Florida State.
I don't disagree that Miami is a better football team. I think the notion that Miami is going to come up to Tallahassee next year and kick us 52-10 like this season, that will not happen. Do I think it's going to be closer to what happened in 2019? Right now, if the game was played right now, do I think Miami would beat us by 14 points, 17 points? Yes.
You go.
But by November 13th, who knows? Miami may be horrible, and Florida State may have, under the watchful eyes of Saint Mike Norvell, might be a better team next season.
Absolutely. I can completely back all that up. I'm right there with you. If they play tomorrow, I'm going maybe 34-17. I think it's a 2-touchdown game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now Logan's going to sit here and tell you why Florida State would beat Miami 52-10. So go ahead. Let's listen to Logan. Defense of Mike Norvell. Go ahead.
We'll wait and see.
Oh, wow. That was cliched. That was a solid cliche comment.
Like that? You like that? We wait and see. No prediction. I give no predictions until after I see a spring game. Once the last second goes off in the fourth quarter of that spring game, and we're leaving the stadium, hopefully in a nice packed Doak, I'll just start taking calls. I'll take your text first, Jason. We'll jump on this show too. Every broadcast, we'll give our predictions right away.
I will be there as a member of the credentialed media.
Oh.
I'm basically just doing that so I don't have to pay for a ticket. Let's just be honest. That's the only reason I'm doing it. I will bring my laptop. We will use the horrible Wi-Fi at Doak Campbell Stadium at Bobby
Nice.
Basketball. We will do a post-game show with Mark Rogers. And it'll be great doing a post-game show knowing that it's a game that Mike Norvell couldn't lose.
Ha.
Thank you, Hurricane Logan, for the $5 extra. Appreciate it.
Anytime you guys want to do post game on Florida State, you guys know you have complete run of my channel.
Yeah, but that Miami one was a bad one. That was bad moments. Logan was drunk. I was sad. It was just bad.
That was at 1 a.m.
Yeah. Why did we do that? Why?
You guys just need to just schedule with me. Just make sure you're not running into one of my post game shows. And as long, you guys can have at the channel anytime you want. You guys can come on here tomorrow night if you want and talk.
Logan, how drunk were you during that post-game show?
That was about 6 or 7 natty ices in.
Yeah,
I don't know how I was able to. I don't know how I was able to direct it too. I don't know how it happened, but it went perfectly.
All right, Mark. We know you're waiting for it. Just go ahead.
Okay, let's hit a few things, and then we're going to dive into it. We're going to go back in time. All right, Hurricane Logan again. I got to read the super chat here. What's further behind? Okay, I catch hell for this all the time about being behind in the live chat. What happens is, obviously, we introduce the show. People are making comments and doing all those things, and then I'm like 10 or 15 minutes behind in the live chat. So that's what happens. But hey, Hurricane Logan, you can point that out anytime you want if you're going to throw in $5 that I'm behind in the live chat. And then we also have got to get in these comments from Mr. G14 Classified. Support Mark Rogers, the voice of college football. And before entering Mark Rogers chat, wipe your thumb across the like button. Okay.
Thank you, G14.
Yeah. So, have I missed anything? I don't believe. Again, thank you, Ronan. Thank you, Hurricane Logan. All right. And I'll keep up posting comments. So bring them in here. So we dove into an article last week that dealt with the demise of the Florida State football program, which I think we can all agree on has slipped more than any program in the country over the last 6 or 7 years. We're talking about from a national championship and then down the rung to where it stands right now.
Logan,
Okay.
do you agree with that, Logan?
Yes.
Okay.
So what happened? Well, we covered 2013 and 14 and kind of the chinks in the armor and what was starting to show at that point. And we had a great discussion with the two of you and, of course, big game James Coleman. So let's go to 2015, following a season in which Florida State still won the ACC, still got to the college football playoff, lost to Oregon in the Rose Bowl. And then starts 2015, another season that culminated with a New Year's Six bowl game, although they lost to Houston in that one. So here's some things, Jason, I'll set you up first. Some points that I took from the article that dealt with, if you still look at recruiting from 2013 to 17, Florida State had the best class, even though Clemson was, that's the period in which they took over the conference. Florida State still had the best class in the ACC for those 5 consecutive seasons. But 2 issues. Offensive line development and also finding that quarterback. DeAndre Francois certainly showed it in 2016 and unfortunately the 2017 game against Alabama, and he was never the same. But those 2 positions in particular were pointed out.
Yeah, and I feel like 2015 that was the first year after Jameis left to go to the NFL. And it was kind of a question moment. You bring in Everett Golston as the grad transfer from Notre Dame. You still had Sean McGuire, who was the perpetual backup his entire time in Tallahassee. Thank you, Hurricane Logan. Appreciate it.
Look at that.
That's nice. I mean, Hurricane Logan has literally given us $69 of his money. So thank you, Hurricane Logan. We appreciate it.
Insane.
We'll be at Florida State this year, so 10, 50.
Yeah, 10 plus 5 plus 52 is $67. $67 of his money. Thank you, Hurricane Logan. Appreciate it. 2015 was also the season where we talked a little bit about in 2014 how these games were close. A lot of them were comeback games. There was, coming to come back in the second half against Louisville, second half against Florida, a last-second field goal to beat Boston College. 2015 was the interesting season because you could start to see Florida State not playing like you had seen them the last 3 seasons. They played like they were going through the motions against USF. They let Miami come back in the second half of that game and make that a lot closer, a 29-24 win by FSU. To me, the beginning and the end of this mini dynasty era was the Georgia Tech game. I don't mind us losing to Clemson because Clemson was a team that ended up playing for the national title. Houston in the bowl game was disappointing, but they were still a good team. That was a Georgia Tech team that finished 3-9. That was a Georgia Tech team we had no business losing to. That was, James and I have talked about it, that was like losing to Maryland back in 2004 for Florida State. You don't lose those games. That's the beginning of the end, and that's where you start to see, Everett Golston gets injured in that game. You talk about the offensive line play. That's where you start to see a lot of how are we losing to this Georgia Tech team? It's the same way this season when I say, how are we losing to a Louisville team with 1 win? How are we losing to a Pitt team? How are we losing to these teams we have no business losing to? How are we losing to Georgia Tech this season? It's where you start to see that downhill slide goes with that Georgia Tech game. And it was almost like you watched a Florida State team who should have been so livid with themselves after losing to a bad Georgia Tech team. And it was almost like, no big deal. We'll just come back. No, you should have been pissed off. You should have been as pissed off as the Florida State team was that lost to NC State in 1998, second ACC road loss. The desire wasn't there, and that's where you start to see it. And now the question comes, where did that desire get lost? Did it get lost after the blowout Rose Bowl loss to Oregon? Did it get lost after yawner games against USF, yawner game against Miami, a yawner game against Boston College on a Friday night in Chestnut Hill back in September? Logan, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, you pretty much detailed most of it. The biggest thing was that Georgia Tech game. Every fan that was there will tell you that's probably one of the worst games they've been to, just because of, that killed the season for them. I think a lot of the guys were already, after the 2014 season, felt pretty crappy after the loss to Oregon and losing that, not having the chance to play for a consecutive national championship. And then you jump into 2015, you lose to Georgia Tech like that. And then not only do you lose to Georgia Tech, you lose to Clemson, which is, like Jason said, ended up going to the national championship that year, but you finish off the season too, losing to Houston, which no FSU fan had any expectation of that happening. They felt pretty good about it. But, Florida State had so much talent on that team. Dalvin Cook was just a sophomore. That was the time where he was just getting going. He saved Florida State in a lot of these games. You had Auden Tate as a true freshman. Trying to think of a few other guys that were in there. Derwin James came in as a true freshman. So you had talent around everywhere. You still had Jalen Ramsey too as a junior. So a lot of things were really, really just unexpected of a season. But it really did start with that Georgia Tech. And, if Roberto Aguayo could tackle, then Florida State might have been saved in that area,
We are blaming the kicker. I mean, I get what we do. I understand. We have issues with our kickers. But I feel like if you look at it over, let's say, the last 7 seasons, from 2014 to 2020, 2014, the loss was to an Oregon team that played for a national title. 2015, we talked about, was Clemson, played for a national title. Houston, it was in a bowl game. Houston was a good team. 2016 was Louisville, who, Lamar Jackson goes on to win the Heisman Trophy. We lose to Clemson, who ends up winning the national title. And our other else was North Carolina, another bowl team. I feel like if you're going to lose games, I don't mind losing to decent teams. I don't mind. It sucks getting blown out by Clemson 59-10 in 2018, but that was a very good team. You understand where it's coming from. It sucked being in that stadium watching us lose 52-10 to Miami. This was a Miami team that was in ACC championship game contention and went to a decent bowl game. That Georgia Tech team in 2015 was god-awful, just like this year in 2020. Those 2 Georgia Tech losses are the worst out of the group because there's no reason Florida State should have lost to Georgia Tech. No reason. Especially against that damn option in 2015. Hate that damn option offense. Horrible.
Annoying.
Mark, you just called delusional.
I was called delusional. Don't I rank teams? Yes, I do. I didn't say I didn't rank teams. I said I don't trust other people's rankings. That's what I said. All right. So, yeah, losing to a 3-9 team. And to Logan's point, if you don't have a fluke play against you, then you don't lose. But to Jason's point, you should be up by 21 anyway. You should not be messing around with a bad football team. I think that was an aberration of a year for Georgia Tech, though, because they were good the year before. They went to the Orange Bowl, won the Orange Bowl the year before, and they were better the next year. But, yes, they were a 3-9 football team. So we go from there. And that Houston game, I remember that one. Cosentino played that game, correct?
Golston wasn't a quarterback. I think McGuire was injured. Yeah, J.J. Cosentino. Yeah, McGuire broke his foot or broke his ankle, I believe. Logan, was that game?
Which game?
Sorry. Logan game. Chick-fil-A moves. Hold on. You can place.
Say that again one more time.
I said
Peach Bowl game.
Yeah, you can place your Chick-fil-A.
Yep. And Constantino had to come in and do his thing, or whatever it was.
There's no excuse for losing, but it felt like it was one of those games where they didn't want to be there. And Houston was extremely fired up, of course, to play in the New Year's Six at Oliver. They had a really good team.
But would you say? But honestly, Mark, though, on the flip side of that, this was a Florida State team that 2 seasons before had won a national title with what I think was the best college football team, but I think even critics would say was a top 5 college football team. There's no reason we should have lost to Houston in that game. Houston was a good team, but there's no reason we should have lost to that team.
Oh, if I remember, you were a 2-touchdown favorite.
No, I remember. Yeah, I lost. Yeah. Thanks, appreciate it.
So if we move on to more points, while that was all going on the field, meanwhile, Jimbo Fisher's supposedly fighting with administration over money to pay assistant coaches. He has a lot of projects he would like to push. He wants facilities upgraded. He's not getting the kind of money and support that he's looking for there. Monk Bonasort, confidant of Jimbo Fisher's, unfortunately passed away, became extremely ill. Brain tumor, brain cancer. Yeah. And he passes away. And so Jimbo Fisher has a very sick child, marital issues. There's a lot going on off the field as well.
Yeah, 2016 was an interesting year. And you see like how the opener against Ole Miss is up 28-6. It's like they're going to annihilate us in Orlando in the opener. DeAndre Francois in his hometown comes back and wins that game. 2016 was another season where you've got, like, for example, North Carolina, that was a 2-point loss. Clemson was a 3-point loss. Louisville was a 43-point loss, but that's a different issue. So you have those close losses, but you also have those close wins. Miami was a 1-point victory thanks to a missed extra point. NC State was a 4-point victory thanks to a second-half comeback. It was kind of a season where, yes, on the surface, it finished 10-3, another 10-win season, but it was the 5th straight season of double-digit wins. But it could have easily gone the other way. And that's where I think you hit the nail on the head. Yeah, I said it. It was a season that we were lucky to be at that point. I feel like that was the beginning of the end. But because of those 10 wins, because of pulling it out against NC State, pulling it out against Miami, pulling it out against Michigan in the Orange Bowl, those kind of cover up the fact that season was not as good as the 10-3 record indicates.
Yeah, Florida State was extremely, extremely talented, too, on their roster. You still bring back, once again, Dalvin Cook as a junior, his last season at FSU. He wins an Orange Bowl MVP, absolutely goes off. You have DeAndre Francois, and then you still bring back another season, a true sophomore of Derwin James. There's young talent coming in, too. You've got senior like Freddie Stevenson. You've got DeMarcus Christmas, Derek Nottie, who we know is having a great career in the NFL. So the talent was everywhere. DeMarcus Walker, it was stacked, but it just couldn't hang with some tough competition. Definitely when it came down to the Clemson game, losing by a field goal there, 3 points. And then you've got the loss to North Carolina, which I was there for that one. Got to be there for that. Got to see the kicker do his little trot in.
Well, I just want to show Ronan I don't live in a trailer park. I live in an actual apartment. You may be too drunk in Ireland to realize that, but this is an apartment. It's not a trailer park team. So yeah, live in an apartment.
I feel like he's fighting with somebody else, Jason, in the chat, by the way.
Well, I don't know. I came hard at him earlier. I didn't know how it was going. I do have a question for you. The 2016 team, and Mark, you watch those teams. You watch a lot, so you can jump in on this as well. I feel like the biggest problem on that, we've talked about the flaws in the offensive line, the other issues, wide receiver and whatnot. Yeah, Dalvin Cook saved that season. Dalvin Cook single-handedly won the game against USF, single-handedly won the game against Miami, won the game against NC State, won the game against Michigan. So there's four wins right there. I feel like the defense was the problem that season, because the defense goes out, gives up a 37 points to a North Carolina team that was not, as good as a Sam Howell type North Carolina team they have now. You're giving up 35 points to USF in the final season of Willie Taggart there. You're giving up 63 to Louisville, who Louisville was good. Yes, Lamar Jackson won the Heisman Trophy. You shouldn't be giving up 63 points to anybody. So I feel like defense was more of a problem with that. Do you think that was more of a defensive letdown, or do you think that was everyone catching up to FSU?
I think we also saw the fall of the offensive line just kind of being atrocious. You're letting DeAndre Francois get obliterated in most games and practically have concussions by the second quarter. And most, I think there was flaws with that. And like you said, if Dalvin Cook has to carry, that's practically him doing his own thing. The defense could have played better, and I'm sure majority of these games I have to go back and look, but there was just too much talent overall, and that's got to go to coaching too. There's too much talent. Charles Kelly, I believe that was Third and Kelly when that became famous. Should have made T-shirts off of it and made hundreds of thousands of dollars. Third and Kelly was continuously every week, and that's what shot Florida State's defensive play down quite a bit. But you got DeMarcus Walker, who I think is going to stay in the league for some time. Like I said, Derek Nottie, who has a Super Bowl ring already. DeMarcus Christmas. Florida State's defensive line unit was, I think, really stacked. You still have Jacob Pugh to Nate Andrews as a true senior. I think that's about most. I might be missing someone else defensively, but you had the talent. It just it just wasn't turning into anything great.
I remember watching a ton of these games. Yeah, the Louisville game was just an embarrassment on national TV. I think Game Day was there.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it was a noon game. And for as good as Lamar Jackson was, that Louisville team, they lost 3 consecutive games late in the season and only scored 9 points against LSU. So
and that's the reason we ended up in the Orange Bowl, because we were ranked ahead of them in the playoff rankings, and that's why we ended up in the Orange Bowl. So thank you to Louisville for losing to Houston and Kentucky. Appreciate it.
I remember watching that North Carolina game.
Yeah.
The Miami game, was that the missed extra point or the blocked extra point game, 20-19?
Block at the lock.
Played well against a Clemson team that, of course, went on and played in the national championship game, won the national championship, 37-34. Great game there. The Michigan game, you know, on the surface, yeah, like you pointed out, Jason, to the typical college football fan, it looked like, hey, this is a good Florida State team. This is a 10-3 team. They just won the Orange Bowl, finished number 8 in the country. But yeah, if you look below the surface, like the Ole Miss game, that was a national TV, Labor Day night game in which Ole Miss just jumped out like 28-10, had a huge lead. That Ole Miss team was coming off 2 great seasons that could be explained later because of recruiting violations. But that particular Ole Miss team then turned out to not be that good. They only won 5 games. So yeah, it was a pretty capable schedule though that they had to face. But yeah, the defense really and the offensive line, DeAndre Francois, as I'll use Jason Logan's term, got obliterated.
Oh, in the Miami game, he got murdered. Essentially, Miami was just killing him, and you even had Miami people in the press box for that game. You have Miami fans who gained a lot of respect for him because of the fact that he was actually alive.
Yep. Yeah, no, a lot of national analysts. I know Kirk Herbstreit was in love with DeAndre and how well he was able to get back and play, and I give it to him too. High respect for what DeAndre Francois had to go through, because that was just the end of it all for our Florida State's offensive line play, because it was absolutely atrocious and it was pathetic. And that goes to where Jimbo wasn't doing a right job getting his staff right with Trickett not taking care of business and recruiting better, because, you know, you have a talented quarterback there. I think if you give him a better offensive line and you have Dalvin Cook back there, that offense should be ridiculous. You still have Auden Tate, who's young. You have other young ones that are on the team too, surrounded DeAndre. You got Bobo Wilson, Travis Rudolph, Nooney Murray, like I said already, Auden Tate. But this is also the time where we're seeing guys that didn't really develop or stay on Florida State's roster much longer. Devontae Phillips, a former 5-star wide receiver, thought things would go better for him. And there's a whole nother amount of names that we could spend 30 minutes on. But this is just the kind of beginning of the end, they say.
Yeah.
Now, I want to address that because Wayne told them we had another, the Rod Farva asked who I think the ideal coach would be. So I feel like I should clarify the lies that Logan has spread. So let's clarify. Let's correct Logan, as I do every single week here with MarkRogersTV, the voice of college football. I do not hate Mike Norvell. I have never hated Mike Norvell. I don't know Mike Norvell personally, so you can't hate somebody that you do not know. Where my dislike of this hire came from is that Mike Norvell is not a coach you fire Willie Taggart with 3 games left in the regular season and then wait 5 weeks to hire this man. And you could have gotten if you had fired. Thank you to Rod Farva for asking that question. This is one where you could have kept Willie Taggart on. I do believe even with Willie Taggart as head coach, I think they beat Boston College. I think they beat Alabama State, and they get those 6 wins to become bowl eligible. After that Florida game, you can let him go, and then I still would not have agreed with it, but then the argument would have been you finished his 2 seasons, he went through his 2 complete seasons, and you at least let him finish the season. Guess what? You still could have hired Mike Norvell if that's who you wanted. If that's who you truly believe is going to be the best coach for this program, that's fine. That's not a 5-week hire. That's somebody you get if you're going to get Bob Stoops. If you're going to get, I know it's a name that's going to make some people in the FSU family throw up, but Mark Richt, after he had left Miami and taken a year off, he was still a good coach. Let's be honest. He was a good coach. These are the kind of coaches that you're willing to fire coach at the end of the regular season and then come back. Mike Norvell is a 1 week hire. He's not somebody. So that's my whole issue with the hiring of Mike Norvell, number one. Number two, when you start off laying an egg against Georgia Tech, I don't have much confidence the rest of the way. And I don't have a problem with us being 3-6, really. I have a problem with the way we look 3-6. If we were 3-6 this season and lost the Georgia Tech game by 3 points, the Miami game by 3 points, the Notre Dame game by 3 points, Louisville, Pitt, NC State, if we lost all those by a touchdown or less, I could accept it a little bit better because we would have played like a decent team. Getting annihilated by 32 points to a bad Louisville team. I was in the game here talk as Pitt is sitting here talking smack to us. I was at that game when Pitt beat us by 24 points. You don't lose to Pitt by 24 points. You don't lose to Louisville by 32 points. That's the problem, is that right now this is not a team that's playing better than what we had before. If you're telling me is the 2020 team better than the 2019 team? No, I think it was a serious drop down. Just my opinion.
We've got some lifting videos here.
Lifting videos?
Are you serious, Logan?
They're dropping. This is my favorite time of the year. This is where I start talking about who's gaining weight, who's lifting a lot.
You know what?
It's the best part of the year.
You know what? He spread his lies, but I had to correct him. I had to school him, so now let's give him a chance. Logan,
yeah.
some lifting videos. Go ahead. Give us some uplifting videos.
I think I'm sharing the screen again, Mark.
There we go.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Logan's going to break down some weightlifting technique for us there.
Is audio playing for y'all, or is it just me?
No. It's just
okay, good. It was loud as hell.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, let me turn that down so I can actually hear what's happening. I think that's Bryson Estes, true.
Okay.
Yep, I think that's Estes. There's Jermaine Johnson, Georgia defensive end transfer. This Warner. I think that's Leonard Warner, I believe. There's Corbin, running back. We're going to get a lot of people here. It's a good test. Oh, my God.
Look at those weights.
I'm disappointed. I don't know who that is.
We've got garnet and gold weights, man.
Look at McDonald. McDonald's put on some. If that is McDonald, I just put on some base there. Yeah, it is. That is. Oh God, that's Steven Dix Jr. That's a true sophomore. This is homeboy.
Oh, homeboy. Got it.
Wyatt Rector. There's Robert Cooper, still big, still working on that body.
Thank you, Dylan Reddick. Don't care about lifting. Want to see the on-field improvement.
And Spriggs, I believe.
Thank you, Dylan.
And there's Jamie Robinson at the end there.
Logan can't hear you.
Jamie looks good.
Well, we do understand that this is what's required to get the on-field wins.
Yeah.
No, what's required is not losing to Georgia Tech.
Well, that's how you change that right here.
Really, we haven't lifted weights the last 4 seasons. The last season under Fisher, the 2 seasons under Taggart, and the 1 season under Norvell.
Well, I'll tell you who Willie Taggart hired as
Here we go. Once again,
as the way he got into a gym as being an instructor or a coach really was doing an online program.
Yeah. What was our record last year? Under what was White Mark's record? 3-6.
Oh, no real schedule for lifting, no spring at all. Yeah, okay, I got it. It's all right. I just didn't know. No schedule for workouts. You had to work out at home. Some didn't even have weights to lift for 6 months. All right, I got it. Okay, sounds good.
Greatest coach ever. I'm just wondering if it for you, does it go God, your father, and then Mike Norvell? Is he like the third best man in your life, or what is it?
Just showing a little workout video.
God, football.
No, chicken before everything.
Chicken
Chick-fil-A before everything.
Wow, you are a corporate show, aren't you?
All right, we have hit the bewitching hour, 7 o'clock Eastern time. So these guys are putting in overtime right now. So we're going to wrap it up here. We will go to the season of unraveling of 2017 next week, I guess, and the end of Jimbo Fisher.
Can't wait.
All right. A 93rd edition in the books. We will. All right.
Hit the like button. Hit that like button.
Hit it.
It's Matt. Like literally just hit the like button. If you hate Urban Meyer, hit the like button. If you hate Urban Meyer, hit the like button. I think everybody on here, we can all hate Urban Meyer together. At least a majority of them. I don't know if Ohio State fans are still okay with them.
And if you hit the like button, Logan will get White Boy Wasted.
I know. If we ever get to 75 when the show's on, we almost got close. We're at 55. We're 20 away, but I don't think it's going to happen, sadly.
Not going to happen. We're like 20 seconds away from the end.
75 is the number, guys. We're going to do it. We're going to get White Boy Wasted one time.
One day we'll hit 75.
All right, folks. Edition number 94 next week. More enlightening conversation about workout regiments and new quality control coaches and more.
Maybe some spring talk. Maybe some spring predictions.
Yes,
we're getting close. We're only 3 weeks away.
That's it.
And who knows? Is this going to be the week we talk about FSU basketball? Stay tuned.
Oh, best team in the country.